The farmer Mayowa Lawrence Ekundayo joins us. So bring us up to speed as to what smart farming is. Mayowa, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
You know, one of the things I like about the new age is that innovation is driving this new age. So the way we do things before is now obsolete. So walk us through what smart farming really is.
But like the word smart is, it simply means that doing things differently, technology inclusion, ensuring that optimizing profitability is in the fore of food production. Beyond the cultural practice that we used to know, we're now adopting technology, using new means basically to ensure that food production is achieved. Um, you know, whilst ensuring that we minimize food loss, post-harvest losses, just ensuring that we're doing things differently while optimizing profitability and ensuring resource optimization.
I know that post-harvest loss is a big conversation. We're going to talk about that because the numbers, as of the last time I knew, was about between 30 to 40%, and that is outrageous. So you've spoken broadly about smart farming. So walk us, you use a scenario for us, some kind of a
Yes.
simulation for us, so that people who still do not grasp what you're talking about can practically see. Because for people who grew up in the village, they see people go to
Yeah.
the farm, they do this clearing of the bushes, and then they till, they plant, and they see it grow, they water it over time, they clear the weeds, and then harvest time comes, they remove it, and the processing continues from there. So what
Yes.
exactly is different in this smart farming
Okay, so
beyond what I
I'm
just
going to walk
explained?
you. I'm going to walk you through some real life situations. When I came into the space, into the agri space in 2019, we saw farmers who need very, very large expanse of land that they do not really know the measurements, produce large food using OPV seeds. OPV seeds sometimes can be third generational seeds. And by third generational seeds, it means that they simply harvest seeds from fruits that are damaged that they cannot sell, and most times in the data for post-harvest losses, about 50% of that. So you just harvest those seeds, dry them in the next planting cycle, which most times, over 80% of the farmers depended on rain. So it meant that if farmers were going to grow our food, if rain doesn't come, they don't produce foods, right? And it will be shocking that my first engagement with smallholder farmers talking about irrigation, and they were completely. It was a completely strange conversation to them because they felt that without rain, they could not farm, and if they were going to have to have something that was not natural for rain, it means that they were also going to conjure rain. I mean, they'll have to go traditional to pay a native doctor to make rain fall. So they didn't have an understanding that they could produce from January to March. Rather, they would wait from March till June. Excuse me, till July, and then the August break, and then continue again. So without the rain, these farmers cannot produce. And so what as we started introducing to these farmers, of course, was closing the knowledge gap to say that, hey, you can produce even from January, especially from December to March. Just all you need to understand is the concept of irrigation. So we started introducing them to irrigation setup, global best practices for production, for food production, soilless farming, meaning they didn't have to produce food. They didn't have to nurse certain food on the floor, on the ground rather. However, they could use other means like the potting soil, the cocoa pits. Basically, what they needed to understand was the function of the soil, and then introduce technology that could do the same thing, and they will achieve much more results. So we saw over time, especially in during the course of about 3 to 4 months, where farmers now saw that they could produce food without necessarily using soil. Now, this is not even talking about using the greenhouse production yet. Yes, the greenhouse technology was there for them to nurse using nursery trays, potting soil, cocoa pits, and then we also introduced them to the hybrid seeds, which ensure that they bought seeds from seed companies, and they could maximize the potential of one particular seed, getting more yields and making more monies, right? And then other technology that came with ensuring that they manage pest better, they used less water, and they depended less on rain.
All right. Let's talk about the commercials now, the financials, if you may. Aside the fact that this provides food on the table, how profitable is farming for smallholder farmers? And I'll give you a scenario, right? So I put in, overall, I put in ₦1 million for everything, right? And as a smallholder farmer, what kind of profit should I expect if I am doing things the right way?
So first, we have to first understand that there are different value chains in agriculture, and it depends on which value chain. I'm going to speak to the horticulture value chain, which I am currently driving development in the rural community. So, investing ₦1 million in the horticulture value chain, that number that amount of money is also subject to if you're going to be investing, what's the size of the farmland you're investing in, and what type of irrigation you're putting in place, right? And last year we engaged the smallholder farmers, asking them what had changed, and what we realized is a 600% increase in their income by just following the best practices, introducing adopting technologies, adopting hybrid seeds, adopting the new method of pest management, which is the IPM, introducing the soilless means of producing seed, using the best agronomy practices, basically. And again, when we say 600%, it does not also mean that you invest ₦1 million and make ₦6 million. It may not be so. However, we saw a situation where farmers, not necessarily introducing irrigation system yet, but were able to optimize a small size of farm. Well, let me say that again. They stayed on a small size of farm rather than pursue or use the large expanse of land that they are used to. Followed our method of best practices, and getting yields up to about more than 600% of what they would have naturally gotten if they used the old method, or what the other farmers who have not adopted technology got from the last production cycle.
So I'm going back to my question, because for a lot of people want to be able to envision this, and I know farming is not for the weak, it's not for the faint at heart. Okay, it is a very emotional process. Imagine, you plant and then it's gone overnight. But I still want you to speak to that because I think it's also a process of gathering data, so we're able to understand this person put in a certain amount overall and was able to make this kind of profit. What you've been able to say is, by adopting some of the techniques for for smart farming, they were able to increase by 600%. But I'm still using that example. Put 1 million in. What at least in what range would you expect as profit if you do all these things right?
Okay, so for horticulture, if what you have is 1 million, you're probably looking at having a standard farm for 2 plots to 3 plots, a standard farm. And for a standard farm for 2 plots to 3 plots, you are most likely going to be at the peak of the season, most likely going to be having about in gross sales of about 4 to 5 million naira in sales. And by peak of the period, we're talking June, July, August.
Fantastic. So clearly, it is profitable if you do things the right way. We're glad we're able to have this conversation to encourage a lot of people who want to get into it, Jeffrey. So just as in winding down, so I know you play in the horticulture sector, but there are other sectors as well. So in terms of smart farming, I don't know whether you can speak to the issue of fishery. Sometimes when we talk about farming, a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to agriculture generally. We just say go to the farm. So let's broaden it beyond just farming. Let's go to fishery. For instance, if you were to bring in smart farming into fishery, what kind of technology are we looking at in that space?
So again, fishery is not a value chain of specialty for me. It's not a value chain that I have paid attention to. So I can't speak to what is attainable in terms of smart farming for fishery. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. That I cannot speak to the subject of smart farming, because for every value chain in agriculture has its own specialty, and you have to be there for 2 to 3 years for you to say, 3 to 5 years for you to say that you know all that it is to be known in that value chain. Agriculture is, like you say, is not for the weak hearted. It's not for the weak-hearted.
Okay, absolutely. I wish you could speak. I think you should consider it at the end of the day, because I would have gone from fishery to livestock to all of, these things I will consume every other day. But must thank you so much. Mayowa Lawrence Ekundayo is a farmer joining us via Zoom from Ado Ekiti. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the things you've been saying on X. Well, the X-man himself was there at the inauguration yesterday, Saturday. I do not know whether he's the 40, what do we call Elon Musk?
47th and 47.5.
No, assistant 47th president of the United States.
But hey,
he's literally everywhere.
They gave hundreds of millions of dollars towards the election of Donald Trump. And of course, he's a Trump guy. He wants free speech and all of that. So it's obvious that they are best buddies.
Well, free speech is relative when it comes from the mouths of people like Trump and Elon Musk. So free speech is totally relative, because what we see Elon Musk do with free speech, we're beginning to ask, is it really free speech, or you just wanted opportunity to talk more? You spent 44 billion. Anyway, that's another conversation.
I see that Donald Trump yesterday launched coins.
No, Trump launched first before his inauguration.
Yeah, but yesterday he gave like I think 10% is for public. But yesterday was a major unveiling, particularly for the gold.
But it has dropped. That coins has dropped by almost 50%.
Who does that? I thought
it's a meme coin.
I thought you're meant to separate these things.
It's meme coin. Perhaps that's why it's called a meme coin. So let's find out what the people are saying. Donald Trump has been sworn in, making an extraordinary political comeback, as to put it. This is coming from AMR Pakistani. That's what you call yourself. Donald Trump's return as the 47th president marks a remarkable political comeback. It will be interesting to see how his leadership shapes the future of the United States, especially in a world facing complex global and domestic challenges.
Lots of congratulations coming in for Donald Trump, but would like you to take a listen to a video in which he declared that effective immediately, the U.S. government will officially recognize only 2 genders, male and female. Well, this has gotten a lot of people talking, but this is one of the many decisions that Donald Trump made yesterday. So, well, let's take a listen to Donald Trump.
Policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
Kyrie, this is why I say Nigerian politics doesn't have ideology. So Republicans are clear on this position. So even Republicans who don't like him, but they hold on to this position, male and female. The Democrats, you can be anything. You can identify as anything. So you cannot just wake up and cross carpet. You cannot suddenly just be pro-gay and anti-gay. In 5 years, you have gone like this.
You see people that swing.
Just swing like this.
Born again, they
just swing like this. Okay, Kyrie,
Abba says, this is a much-needed policy. Thank you, Trump. Are you from America? Why are you thanking Trump?
Farouk, big call that is. I love how he's being straightforward with his business friends.
Alrighty, you see, Oluyide Olatunji says, you gotta give it to the man. He stuck to his word and delivered. But, Jeffrey, this work from home that Donald Trump is ending for government workers, Elon Musk had done it for X. Now, Donald Trump is doing it for government workers. I'm sure some are praying, can we have COVID again and some sort of lockdown so we'll go back home?
All right, so we also have this one coming in. Federal government planning to distribute 75,000 naira to 70 million Nigerians to ease economic hardship. See households now. So for further contextualize this, I think this money most of the time is about 25,000 naira every month for 3 months. That's the usual plan that the government has. But let's just take one. Nigerians are neither beggars nor slaves. If the federal government were not plagued by corruption, they will focus on creating jobs and so many other things you said.
There's no way we will go without showing you what these girls, Nigeria's under 19 women's team, are doing in New Zealand. These girls are doing great stuff with cricket. Come on, guys. Sorry, they beat New Zealand, I should say, by 2 runs at the ICC Under 19 World Cup in Malaysia. It's holding in Malaysia, but they beat New Zealand.
Nigeria and cricket in one phrase.
I tell
beautiful.
You should see how Piety plays. Once Piety hits it, it's in the bush. It's beautiful to see.
It's beautiful.
Congratulations,
but you know, cricket. I mean, is it called that ball they hold?
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
You ball and then
it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. All right, that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. Sunrise Daily is up next at the top of the hour. I'm Jeffrey Ozama. Bye bye.
I'm Kaido Kikilu, still with Channels Television, and have a great day.